Alrighty guys, so this is going to be the part 2 where we talk about solving an equation with a rational exponent. And to kind of give you an idea of what that is, let's go ahead and just jump right on into an example. So we have 2x is raised to the 3/4 power. And so that's what I mean, that 3/4 power, that is a rational exponent, okay? Because in the last video, you'll remember we had it just as a square root or as a cube root, and it wasn't a power, okay? But believe it or not, we handle these rational exponents very similarly. So in order to solve this, we would subtract by 2 on both sides, and so you have 2x to the 3/4 power is equal to 8. Now, we have to address the 3/4 power prior to dividing out the 2, okay? Now, if you'll remember a little while back, we talked about the properties of these exponents, and in order to get rid of this 3/4, we have to raise it to its reciprocal, which is to the 4/3 power. But if you raise it to the 4/3 power on one side, you got to do it to the other side. So the 3's will simplify and the 4's will simplify out to 1. That gives me 2x is equal to, now you're going to have to perform 8 to the 4/3 power. Now, the way you interpret that, remember, converting it, you have the cube root of 8 first, and then raise it to the 4th power, okay? So the cube root of 8 is 2. Now you have to do 2 to the 4th power. Now, I'll be honest, it's escaping my mind. 2 to the 4th power. Oh, where's the power button? There it is. 16. Wow, I should have known that, but that's okay. So you get 16 from this, and so 2x is equal to 16 divided by 2. X is equal to 8. Okay, so that would be our answer. Now let's go ahead, let's take a look at another one of these problems. Alrighty, so let's try x plus 30 to the 1/2 is equal to x. Okay, now in order to go ahead and access the x on the left hand side, we actually have to go ahead and get rid of the 1/2, okay, this exponent. So we need to raise it to the power of 2 over 1. So that means we're going to raise this x value to the 2, right? So these will simplify to 1. So that gives me x plus 30 is equal to x squared, right? Now, let's go ahead and bring everything to one side. Oh, sorry, that should be a negative. Boom. So then I end up with 0 is equal to x squared minus x minus 30. Now, nothing's going to simplify here because there's no like terms, but we do have 3 terms, so we do the AC method. Now, the AC method that'll work here is going to be x minus 6 and then x plus 5, okay? And so that means my answer is going to be x minus 6 is equal to 0, x plus 5 is equal to 0, and you just kind of solve that, and that gives you 6, and that gives you -5. Now, of course, it's important that you check your solutions still, okay? And if you were to go ahead and plug these back into the original equation, I would actually encourage you to pause it and try to figure it out. Good. If you paused it and figured it out, you should have got -5 is extraneous, okay? This is not an answer, okay? The only one should be is 6, okay? Now, we keep on going to now a little bit different topic. We're now going to be talking about these radicals when they encounter inequalities, okay? So let me erase this. So now we're adjusting a little bit. We're moving away from the rationals, and now we're going to talk about radicals again, okay? But with inequalities now. Okay, so, and you'll see why this all ties together in a second. So say I have 3, okay, and I have it to the square root of x minus 1 is less than or equal to 12, okay? Now, in order to go ahead and get rid of this radical, okay, we can go ahead, we have to divide by 3 first, okay, so that gives me the square root of x minus 1 is less than or equal to 4. Now, there's 2 ways you can think about this. You can go ahead and say, well, if I go ahead and square this on both sides, it's going to get rid of my square root. Or, better yet, I mean, you could go ahead and convert the radical to a 1/2 okay? And then you would say to yourself, well, just like the previous examples, I'll just multiply by its reciprocal and then do the same over here, both of which are fine. So you'd have x minus 1 is less than or equal to, now 4 squared, that's 16. Add 1, so x is less than or equal to 17, okay? And that's going to be our answer, okay? X can be less than or equal to 17. Now, let's take a look at another example with this type of inequality. Now, keep in mind, the only real big thing to remember about inequalities is if you divide by a negative, what do? Switch the inequality, right? It flips. All right, let me erase this. So, for example, say I had negative 4, okay, is the cube root of x plus 1 is less than negative 8. All right, so you divide by negative 4 on both sides, okay? And what that's going to do is that's going to give you the cube root of x plus 1, but what do you have to do with the inequality now? You have to flip it because now it's greater than 2, okay? Because it changed positive. Now, of course, you could redo that previous step where you change the radical to a rational exponent, and then you multiply or raise it to the power of its reciprocal. So that would be to the 3 over here, and these will simplify. And so then you've got x plus 1 is going to be greater than, now 2 cubed is 8, and then subtract 1 on either side, and so x is greater than 7. Okay? And so there you go, that's your answer. Now let me know if you guys need more help or have more questions on it. That's it for this video, and you know everything you need to know about solving radical equations and inequalities now. Good job.